Shiu, welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker, and we're continuing on. And this is the discussion from a couple of weeks ago. And we're talking about East Coast indigenous culture. Is it a borrowed Plains Indian culture, as we've been told by certain people from the Aboriginal community? Or is the Aboriginal community, is their culture borrowed or modified African culture masquerading as indigenous? Okay, and that is the question. And before we get started, I would like to say that in the chat, for those who are generous enough to leave a donation, I am leaving in the chat information where you can leave a donation via PayPal and also via Cash App. Okay, and give me 1 second here. I want to see if we have anyone watching. We don't have anyone watching yet. So Firebird, I guess we can wait and see, you know, so that we're not just talking to ourselves. So we got someone else who just tuned in. I guess they're coming from the previous video that we just did. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm gonna queue up the discussion, the information regarding to the comments, that the lovely comments that we received from Stephen. Where are you, Stephen? Come out, wherever you are. Let's see here. Let me see. Did I email those comments? Let's see. Give me 1 second. Just want to. Could have swore I sent those comments from Stephen. Let's see. I thought I did. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I know I didn't. Okay, let me send it over. Save. Compose.
Shiny things in there. I'm tired of you doing this. You know, Mr. Cooper, let me be.
Give me 1 second.
You been here?
Hey, did you want to speak, Firebird, while I'm doing this here?
Yes, I'm actually glad that this is a continuation of the issues that we've been speaking on for a few weeks, and actually things that we have been doing for 30 years. As the innovators of this discussion, um, these issues weren't addressed back in the day like we're doing and have done in the past. So you continuing the studies is very important to teach the general public um, the history of Turtle Island. And thank you for inviting me to be on your show today about
Oh,
this
you're
subject.
welcome. And also, before we get started, uh, I would also like to say, wait, how many people do we have watching? How many do we have watching? Let's see. Five, six watching. Okay, that's good enough. So
Hi,
for those
everyone.
who, hey, for those who are just joining in, I left information for those who are generous enough to leave a donation. PayPal and Cash App, where you can leave the donations via those mediums, are in the chat. Also, I have finally, um, as per everyone's request, a lot of people were requesting the T-shirts. The hold on, let me make this a solo screen so that they can see this here. Those who were requesting the original landlords T-shirt, I have the T-shirts. So I know some people expressed interest for a long time, and I finally got them. Okay, and I also have the other T-shirt, the nappy and happy. Okay, I have the nappy and happy T-shirt. Okay.
I love it. Oh my God, beautiful.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a family member rocking that. I mean, it is yay big.
Oh man.
uh,
Yeah.
I
So
don't see me to talk to you. I just see
oh
you.
yeah, let me bring you back. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was trying to show the t-shirt, but because the screen was divided, they couldn't see the
Yeah,
t-shirt.
you got to send me a small happy nappy.
Sure, sure. I'll do that for sure. I got you.
I mean, that one, she has it. I mean, it's, oh my God. It is enormous. I mean, people stop her on the street and ask her, "Is that your real hair?"
Right, right.
It's that
Now,
big.
Firebird.
Yes.
Um, before we go forward, uh, before we do anything, I want you to briefly, and because this discussion is only going to be half an hour, because I
Okay.
have some errands that I have to run,
That's good enough
but
for me.
for 5 minutes, uh, talk about the Indigenous Peoples Parade that you are, that is the brainchild that you have initiated.
Okay. Actually, the brainchild started over 20 years ago. I had the vision that this is something that we should do to bring even more positive light to our cause as Native people, especially in a big city like New York City, who refused to take down the Christopher Columbus statue. They got it, the Italians have gotten it um, federally protected. So venues like a parade helps bring positive life to people that don't have a clue about indigenous people, especially on the Northeast. Okay, there's a lot of misconstrued things going on about natives on the Northeast. Indians are not real, or you don't look like Indian, or you're fake, and all kind of things. So I felt it was necessary to have this annually. So my sister tribe, they are sponsoring me with this effort. Um, the one I did 20 years ago was just a one-time event, but this is annual on 6th Avenue. So we're keeping the vision alive. We're inviting all nations of Indian people, not just from United States, Turtle Island, um, but the other parts of Turtle Island, North and South Central America are welcome, and also non-native people are welcome too. We'll have a registration form to have people register so that it's not a free for all. The city doesn't like that, and we like to know who's supporting us as well. So that's just a footnote of one of the major projects that I'm doing, and it's scheduled for October 16th, 2022. It didn't almost happen this year because of some glitches with some parasites, like what you described,
Oh God.
in a human form. And I thank you for your spiritual Sunday you just did, because those topics, non-human and human parasites, needs to be discussed and recognized. So that's about it. October 15th, a Saturday, from 12 to 3 p.m. on prestigious 6th Avenue, downtown Manhattan, which is a part of Lenape Hogan, which is Lenape, part of my heritage. I'm Cherokee Lenape registered. And for all that want to come and attend with your banners in support, please notify me at fibergraywolf at yahoo.com, or Fierce on his show in comments. You can notify him as well. He's my
And TP
affiliate.
Longhouse email. I'll
Tippy
leave the email.
Longhouse
I'll
at
leave it in the chat.
gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave it in the
So
chat. TP Longhouse
uh, we're
at
we're
gmail.com.
making yes, we're making history, because there's never been a major parade in New York City. Maybe in Long Island, natives were always invited to march for the tribes out there in other parades or procession. But this is hopefully mainstream in prestigious New York City. Natives are doing it and have done across the country, but nothing like this. This is prelude to Indigenous Peoples Day, which is a federal holiday now. But our parade, we put together as Native people. The government didn't give us that directly. We put in our own permits and our own nonprofits, and
And that's good because see someone had accused us of being counterproductive and also accused us of not doing anything. So I'm gonna read the comment right now. As a matter of fact, sorry to cut you off, Firebird. Just in the interest of time, um, I'm gonna put that because we're gonna do the interview with you this week, where you can explain more in detail. But I just wanted to give you that plug. Um, but so we had our good friend Steven Starr. I hope you're listening, Stephen. Come out wherever you are. Um, so he sends me this comment. He
Mm-mm,
says, Shiyu Nakli, I didn't get a chance to tune in nor have had a chance to review this vid. He's talking about the last video that I did. And he says, I will. And again, I noticed the ambush and intentional. I'm going to mute your mic, Fiber, because it's getting a lot of background noise. I'm going to mute your mic
okay.
just for now. Okay. And so he says, I noticed the ambush and intentional comedic routine to make me out to be the bad guy. Riddle me this, Batman. Do you think Garvey had anything to do with Aboriginal or Indian business? You both asked me, where did the Indians go on the Trail of Tears or during removal? I said Oklahoma, based upon the misdirection of the government agent Benjamin Hawkins, who Tecumseh had to be talking about when he said, they have turned our warriors into women. Also spoke on the blood of the whites flowing through the chiefs when he went to the land of his mother in Alabama, as he sought a pan Indian alliance. The treaty in 1830 in he says the treaty in 1830 that Andrew Jackson, under the same influence that Thomas Jefferson and the other Indian removers. We have been shuffled around for centuries. Look at the Pequot War, the Metacom King Philip War. They just lifted the kill on sight here in Massachusetts, if you were a Pokanoket in the 70s, I believe. All this information, and you push or suggest disinformation. We all must walk the red road. I'm just here to fix the potholes. Even with yours in my conversation, I do see you as being a vital role in the in the Aboriginal movement. If they can merge biology and technology and create people at clonade and through injection, there should be no way that we can't merge the so-called reservation Indians with the newly charged Aboriginal Indians for the win. Go back to the ways of your ancestors who lived not so long ago on their own land, raising 10 to 15 children, 1950s and before. Or do we argue about Pan Africans? Oliver Howard was an Indian killer who opened as an experiment Howard University, and through school/shul, Hebrew word for hell, the Indian in him was killed and the man was saved slash small s slaved. We ain't tired yet. Okay, so now let's take this in bits and pieces here. Let's chunk this whole comment. Okay, now, so in terms of Garvey, again, brother Steve, brother Steve, brother Steve. First of all, we didn't try to ambush you. I told you before that you're my brother, and I'm not trying to bash you. I told you. I said, we just want to correct your misinformation and we want you to study more. Okay. And I replied to him in my comment. I said, brother, most of your problems come from not paying attention and being too lazy to watch the videos. If you listen to the whole video, I said that I love you, brother Stephen, no homo. And I'm not trying to bash you. He is just misinformed, and we want you to study more. You're asking me questions about Garvey that I already answered and debunked thoroughly in the previous 11 videos on Garvey. However, you're too lazy to look at them, and I'm not going to repeat what I already discussed. Be a man, Stephen, and do your due diligence. Everything that you've stated above is a gumbo of information thrown in a pan, and you hoped it would turn out to be a good soup, but it has no relevance nor relation to what we discussed previously. It actually is contradictory to what you stated in previous comments. Oliver O. Howard has nothing to do with what we discussed. By the way, I have Howard's book sitting on my shelf for decades. Okay. You said before you are Aboriginal, not Indian. You can't straddle the fence, brother. You said we all must walk the red road. I'm just here to fix the potholes. But how can you fix the road and you have no training in construction, nor the desire to put in the work to learn the trade? Okay. Uh Firebird, do you want to weigh in a little bit on this?
Um, yeah, I do. I get funny type of energy coming from Steven. Um, Personally, I feel that he's just here to throw a monkey wrench in for what we're trying to do or accomplish. He's well read, that's obvious.
No, he's
But
not well read.
uh, when I say that, when I say that, I'll tell you what I mean. He
Okay.
knows and he studies how to throw out names like Okanogan and Marcus Garvey and John Ross, and so he's doing some kind of reading, or someone is feeding it
Y- they-
to.
That's what it is because he said in his comment he doesn't read.
Okay, but I didn't come back on your show yesterday because he drained me spiritually, mentally for some reason. I don't know if he's an agent. I don't know if he's really Aboriginal. I don't know if he's a hater or Nazi that's trying to cause even more division amongst our people. But we're counterproductive. We haven't done anything. He doesn't know anything that he's talking about. He doesn't know about you. He doesn't know about me. He doesn't know about our backgrounds, our accomplishments. He's just throwing things in there in the comments so that he can have people read and maybe be like he is, uh, just a follower. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
one person can cause a whole dominoes effect with slander. I personally was raised in the culture. I personally been doing things all my life in the culture as an activist, as a leader, as a clans person, as a spiritual leader. We have a nonprofit, you know, spiritual and film ministry. We've been doing things for years, and he's just a deterrent here, to keep things going. All the concentration is going on his words. The other audience can't get a word in. He feels he needs to challenge you, make a name for himself, and based on what? What are you doing, Stephen, for the community? Where are your Aboriginal treaties? Who is teaching you this false history? As I spoke yesterday, you know nothing about me and John Ross because John Ross was not my personal chief leader. Okay, we were down in Texas since 1819. So when you say John Ross and his pretendians, you're definitely not talking about me and my people. You're definitely not even talking about many of the people out in Oklahoma, okay, that were forced on Trail of Tears, because that's still part of my kinship. You know, you're not talking about Fierce Truth Seeker, that from a young man, he's been doing his studies, teaching for years and years. You're not talking about us. You're just throwing slander out there and disharmony, you know. And after today, I hope True Fear Seeker gets tired of you instead of being so kind and block you. And that's just what, you know, because that energy is negative, and I'm trying to flow on positive energy, people that are going to build up the communities, not tear apart. Fierce just had a spiritual Sunday to uplift the people, you know, teach the people about human and non human parasites. And right to me right now, Stephen, you're acting like a parasite. You know, your purpose here is not to do anything productive, you know, and that's what I have to say right now, Fierce.
Well, and he also says, he says, LOL when I responded in the chat. He says, every time the all caps go up, I hear you singing, bro. Ha. Aboriginal, Indian are the same thing. You call yourself an Aboriginal or more, an Indian, an Arab. Are you Muslim too? I should pick between Aboriginal and Indian. See Bovier's Law Dictionary and see the definition of Indian, but only pay attention to the first definition. I got love for you as well, my brother. Your information is outdated and counterproductive, which becomes counterintelligence. I want to read your book, but I'm sure you can't put it our based upon the strong pan African. These are I'm reading his word, I'm reading his words word for word, you know, even though some of the grammar is messed up. Our based upon the strong pan Africanism in it. I'm with you, Nachtli, but A1, Dane, Carameo, and others spread seeds, and we go to study in order to be progressive. Also, reading early accounts, oral traditions, correspondence between conquistadors, and you won't believe the education you will receive instead of in the animal training slash training shelter slash school. Can you read this in a Luther voice next time? LOL. So I responded
He just keeps throwing all kinds of
of
uh, uh,
things
uh,
together.
things together.
Yeah.
You know,
So
he's just rambling. You
yeah,
know,
I told him, I said, LOL. Now you're gonna have to close your ears on part of this fiber because I get a little raw in my response.
oh, I've heard it all. You know,
So
my son is like your age group, and my daughters, and my youngest, and me. I can go there with the best of them. You know, as well, knowing
okay,
street savvy, living in New York for so many years. I can go there
okay.
too. So I
I
don't
just
have
want
to.
I just wanted to warn you. Okay. So I said, LOL. My information is dated. No, I'm just light years ahead of you, brother. I can use Aboriginal, Moor, and Indian in the same breath because I know how to make the connections. You can't. That's the difference between student and teacher. That's why it's important for you to stay in your lane. You're not nice with this, brother, Stephen. Okay? You're not nice with this, bro. Okay? That's why it's important for you to stay in your lane. And this is what I do. Okay? This is what I do, brother. This is not what you do. Okay. Furthermore, you never heard me call myself an Arab. Okay. See, again, you don't pay attention. And, brother, only agents mention people's names and try to pit them against each other, such as you in your comments stating, quote, I'm with you, Nockley, but A1, Dame, Carameo, and others spread seeds, and we go to study in order to be progressive. That is a classic COINTELPRO move. For those of you who don't know what COINTELPRO is, that is the counterintelligence move, that the counterintelligence program, okay, that agents work for, okay. I have respect for all of the individuals that you mentioned above, brother. However, I was doing this long before any of them. I was bringing in Firebird too, myself and Firebird. Okay, uh, we were bringing that same information decades ago. Where the hell, Stephen, have you been? Okay, that shit may be new to you, but it's not new to myself or Firebird. You just jumped on the bandwagon yesterday. The problem, close your ears, Firebird. The problem is that you like to dick ride other people's information instead of doing your own research. Those guys have, oh my God, those guys have their own dicks, bro. Okay, they don't need you to hold it for them. And as they spread seeds, as you said in your comments, shaking my damn as they spread seeds. You sound suspect now, brother. Hmm. You sound very suspect. As they spread seeds? Hmm. I don't know, brother. Are you kind of like funny style? As they spread seeds? Hmm. And you're holding their private parts? Hmm. And again, I have nothing against homosexuals. I'm just saying, that that sounds very funny, Stephen. It sounds very funny. I mean,
Fierce, can you
mhm.
answer Adrian Jackson's question? They state, wasn't there a parade in 1999 by the Cherokee Blackfoot Cultural Circle on the Gil Noble show? Can you tell them who was behind that, please?
Okay, so yeah. So we are very familiar with the Cherokee Blackfoot cultural. So I told y'all we know all the players. We know all of the players. Okay. Now, my godmother Firebird, it was her idea first. Okay. That idea for the parade actually came from Firebird. Okay. So, yeah, there was, but however, it was Firebird's brainchild. Okay.
Eh, eh, Yes, and with that, the Cherokee Blackfoot Cultural Circle caused us a lot of embarrassment. They took my vision, uh, my ideas, me getting permits, the whole 9 yards, and used that out of greed to make money instead of for the people. Okay, I was the visionary, like I am of the parade now, and that organization leader fled, disappeared, gone. Firebird is still around. Firebird is connected to major tribes. Okay,
Yep.
he had nothing to do with the vision of that parade. He took it and tried to make money off it and disguise it as his own. Poor Gil Noble had no idea of what was going on, but I'm the brainchild and the visionary of both parades.
Yep.
Thank you for asking that question and clarifying, because that parade is still on the internet, and I use it as a reference for myself to do good for the people.
Yep. So there you have it. Okay. So, you know, people are making comments, and see, that's COINTELPRO move when people come and throw people's names out. You know, you throwing Dane Calloway, you're throwing A1, and you're throwing Carameo and stuff like that to try to pit us against each other. Come on, brother. I wasn't born yesterday, bro. You're trying to cause a rift. Okay, classic move, bro. COINTELPRO, Operation Dirty Tricks. Come on, bro. I think I just probably cost you your job, bro. You might not get a paycheck, because I just exposed you as an agent. um, I don't know, bro. Hopefully you'll get paid, but I think I might have just you blown your cover, bro. Sorry, you blown your cover on
Exactly.
more than one
Exactly.
level. On more than
Yeah,
one
more than
level.
one level. More than one level. You know, and Adrian, people like that, like the guy from the Cherokee Cultural Circle, I knew him very well. I even showed him how to start an organization, not having any idea that he was a rotten guy. And that's all I'll say. We don't really consider that as an event, a first annual. This is a first annual for the people.
That's right. This is the first annual because this parade it will be an annual parade. Okay,
And a honest one.
and an honest one. We're not taking people's money or anything like that. Okay,
I
so
showed him how to set up an organization, uh, and everything, and parasites will use good people to get where they want to get. And you approach things with a good heart, and everyone does not have the same intentions. That's why I'm very careful of who I deal with, who I help, who I give information to, and who I guide. I try very hard spiritually to be very careful because you can't do everything with a good heart with some people. They're energy vampires and they're parasites.
hmm so he says, you know, pick a side. He accuses me of being a Pan Africanist and all this. Now, first of all that pick a side and stuff like that. See, number one, I don't need to pick a anything. Okay, I'm not trying to divide our people here on Turtle Island. That's your thing. Your thing, and people like you in that movement are about dividing our people. I build bridges, okay? And you try to talk about people like the peacemaker and stuff like that. That's what I do, okay? I build bridges. I play the peacemaker role, okay? So you're about dividing our people. I'm about uniting our people. So I don't have to pick a side. I don't have to. That's why I can have my college professor on, okay, who is uh, a Pan Africanist, this, that, and the other. And I can have him on my show without, as people like you would do, would try to challenge him on every little word that he says, okay, and be disrespectful and ratchet and ghetto. You're mad at me because I'm not getting ratchet and ghetto and hood radish, you know,
Yeah,
um, with people. Okay, I don't have to do that because we don't have to agree on every. I don't have to agree with everything that someone says in order for that to be my brother, in order for me to work with my brother. Okay, I have more sense enough and more wisdom to find the commonalities in what we do have in common. Okay. Now, agents, on the other hand, will be trying to find faults with everything that someone says and try to create division. Okay. I can go among, see, the people that In my circle, I have people in my circle that are from all kinds of schools of thought. Okay. I have people in my circle that are Israelites. Okay. I've got people in my circle that's Nation of Islam. I got people in my circle who are American Indian. I've got people in my circle who are Moors. I got people in my circle who are straight up Orthodox Islam. Okay. I've got people in my circle who are Pan Africanists. I got people in my circle who are some of everything. And guess what? We don't always agree, but at the same time, we're able to sit and break bread together. Okay. And
Mm-mm.
that's because, my brother, I'm not trying to cause division. You see, I know how to find the commonalities and see what we all have in common. Okay. You can't do that. You're not at that level yet, brother. Okay. It takes time to be able to do something like that. All right. I've been through all the schools of thought. Okay. Like I said, you ain't nice with this, bruh. You ain't nice with this. Takes time to become nice with this. Okay. I can do that. Okay. And number one, you don't know anything about Indians, quote unquote, because if you did, you would know that you got quote unquote Indians that are all kind of religions. You got we know Indians that are Christian, a whole lot of them. We know Indians that are Muslim. Am I right, Firebird?
Right.
We know Indians who are
Buddhist,
Israelites,
Buddhist,
Buddhists, and all of the above.
Jewish.
Thank you, Jewish. You know, like real like Orthodox Jewish. Okay, so now you wouldn't know that because you haven't stepped foot in an indigenous circle. You stepped foot on an internet keyboard circle, but you haven't stepped foot in an indigenous circle, let alone a reservation or even a powwow. Okay. So that's the difference between us and you. We are giving you hands-on experience. You are giving lip service based on what you heard so and so say or such and such say. Okay. So, you know, you claim to be Aboriginal. You say we're Aboriginal, not Indian. Okay. Uh, but at the same time, here you are contradicting yourself in your own comment, saying that you're seeking pan-Indian alliance. You're talking about the Pokanokets. You're talking about Tecumseh. You're talking about all these different Indians, but yet you're saying you're not Indian, you're Aboriginal. Sounds like a nutcase to me. Am I right, Firebird? Am I missing something here?
Yeah, he's a confused puppy. And
Confused.
Fierce, hold your thought right there. Before I forget, I want to thank Adrian Jackson for thanking me. I really am a sincere person in everything I do for our people, and I appreciate your acknowledgement. Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you, definitely, Adrian. Now I want to share a video. 1 second here. Want to share a couple of videos because you have these people here saying they're not Indians, they don't have, we're not tribal Indians, we're Aboriginals. Okay, but yet they use Aboriginal information when it's convenient. Okay, now let me show you something. So you say, okay, the tribes are mongoloids and this, that, and the other. Okay, now as Firebird and I know, if you've been particularly reservations in the Northeast, okay, you have a great diversity of
Mhm.
phenotypes. Okay, you don't see predominantly mongoloids in the
Yeah,
East.
I'm
Okay,
glad you
you
got
don't.
this. I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. And the people in who think like you in the Aboriginal community, again, I'm not singling out all people in that community. I'm just talking about the dumb ones. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm gonna show you some videos here to prove. See, I'm showing you videos, but see, we know these people, like know these people, like we be with these people. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm showing you the videos because you've never been on a reservation. So I'm gonna show you just how much you don't
Tess
know.
just tuned in. Tess.
Oh, hey, Tess. I didn't
Hi,
forget about you,
Tess.
Tess. I
You
didn't
better
forget
come to
about you, Tess. It's
this
just been a lot
parade,
going.
Tess.
Yeah, it's just been a lot going on. So that's why I
Thank you
hadn't
for all
gotten a
the
chance to
love.
get back to you
Thank
yet.
you for all the
Okay.
love through the years and support. Love you, sister, young sister. Mm-mm.
1 second here. Gonna share the screen.
Hi, Boo.
So these people say they're not connected to the tribes. They're just Aborigines. The tribes are Mongoloids and blah 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 blah. Let me
How
show you how.
racist.
Yeah, let me show you how ridiculous they sound. Steven, where are you? Michael Hampton, where are you? Okay, here we go. Here we go. And again, I don't own the rights to this video. It's for fair use, informational purposes only.
Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
Tonight we are having our junior Mission Teen pageant. So we have these 6 girls that are all excited. They have been practicing and going through different lessons for a few months now.
Akwe, Yeshayuin Ambaku, Nadasuis Polite, Natatishuam. Nabunis Kotomongo. Hello, my name is Nishay Polite, and I'm proud to be running a Mishinakak Junior Teen Pageant. Thank you.
It's not a beauty pageant. They're being judged basically mostly on their knowledge and history of Shinnecock and just what we're looking for to represent who we are.
I believe that a Shinnecock woman is someone who's respectful, grateful, and sets a good example. She takes pride in her culture and makes the effort to pass down her culture's history because it is important to preserve in her Shinnecock history.
The girls have been working really hard for the past several months, learning about their culture, their traditions, their selves, and just really growing and developing. And today they're going to share with you a little bit of their language, a little bit of their traditional dancing, their own personal talents, and we're really excited for it. The clothing that they'll be wearing, they're going to be wearing several different styles. When they first enter into the arena, they're going to be doing what's called a grand entry, and it's a procession of all the women dancing different styles. They're going to be dancing the traditional style, they're going to be dancing a style called jingle, which is a slightly different style, and they're going to be dancing fancy. And those are all contemporary style of Native American dress, and they're going to express themselves in different ways. There's going to be another section in the performance that's going to be traditional Eastern woodland dancing, where they'll all be wearing the traditional clothing that their ancestors wore many years ago.
Let's pause for a second. You heard it. She said They'll be doing some modern dances, and then they're going to be doing some traditional Eastern Woodland. Eastern Woodland. Okay. You heard
Thank
it too,
you,
right,
Wado.
Firebird? You heard it too,
Hope.
right, Firebird?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna continue it rather.
There will be formal wear. They'll be wearing their ball gowns. That's the only part that they're going to have modern clothes on. Everything else will be in native regalias. And we also have, for the first time, a tiny tot showcase where our babies will be coming out modeling.
Many years ago, I was in a pageant and I actually won Miss Congeniality, and it was just a really great time. I watched the girls participate in the pageant a couple of years ago, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to work with them. I'm a social worker and I work for Alternatives Counseling Center, and we thought this was just a great way to help to build the self-esteem in these young women, and we wanted to get involved.
I would also like to thank the elders, those that are here now and those that have gone before me, for teaching me the ways of our traditions. It truly has been such a humbling experience. Thank you. Have a good night.
It's really a beautiful experience to watch your daughter to go to different events and represent your people. And we've always tried to, instill in her, pride, respect, generosity, and to make sure that, when she goes out there, she always carries herself in the best way.
I was very honored to be able to go to different powwows, different events to be able to represent my people and where I'm from, and it just felt good to know that somebody else was going to be able to take my place and do the same things that I got to do.
Junior Miss Shinnecock goes to Gianni Will.
Feels like I was dreaming. I didn't realize that they said my name, so I was just like,
Culture is prevention. Culture is the basis of helping to prevent youth from engaging in risky behaviors and helping them to make positive choices in life.
Ladies and young gentlemen, you did a wonderful job, and you have made us all very, very proud of you. Thank you.
Wado. Wado.
Okay.
Wanishi.
So now, oh, we got A1 in the his house. Hey, all right, A1. I'm mad at you, man. I've been trying to hit you up for a while, man. You don't respond to uh none of my emails, man. What's good with that, bruh? I've been trying to reach you for a while, and I even called you. Um, okay. It's actually in the link. TP Longhouse. If you look in the if you like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's in the chat. Look in the chat. TP Longhouse at gmail.com. I can't get you on that number for some reason. Um, can't get you, but let me leave the email again. TIPI.
I
Okay,
miss Tess so much.
I'm leaving it in the chat right there, A1. Yeah. So I'm glad you tuned in, A1, because we have an agent who was trying to put us against each other. And I called him out, you know. And we have to be aware of people who try to, the old Cohen Telpro operation dirty tricks, you know, and I see it, for what it is. I've been around a while, so, I can spot these things like right away, you know, and I called it out. I'm like, why are you trying to drop? Why is somebody trying to drop names, put names out there, you know, as if I'm gonna bite the bait. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I've been around, too long for that. You're throwing names out like A1 and Curameo and this, that, and the other, you know, and he doesn't even know that, you and I know each other, A1. So it's like, who you fooling? You know what I'm saying?
It's
Who are you
funny that
fooling?
Stephen brought up Sachem to Kansa. He dropped his name, and his mission, the Sachem, was to bring unity to the tribes to come together to fight oppression. So
Hmm.
you understand what I'm saying? The connection, what
Exactly.
we're trying to do. You're
Exactly. There.
dropping names of a very man that was trying to bring unity
Exactly.
to the different tribes and form a union, a confederacy,
Yeah. And
to
he's mad
fight.
at me because I am not, because I build bridges.
Yeah,
I don't burn bridges. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
right.
He's mad at me, and then he says, my information is dated, and he's throwing, he says, I can't make up my mind if whether I'm a Moor or blah 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 blah. He mentioned A1's name and doesn't even know that A1 is a Moor. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You know, and so, hold on.
Oh, I miss Tess so much. I'm glad she's here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and A1
She's a
says,
sweetheart.
I've done no wrong or harm to no one. People just hate and mention it. Yeah, exactly, A1. You know, exactly. That is a fact, But the problem is, if
Mhm.
you don't say things that fit these people's ideology, it's like, don't get mad at me because I'm not co-signing, or you choose to have a problem with more, you choose to have a problem with any information that doesn't fit your paradigm. Okay, I can make the connections. I know how to make the connections between more, Aboriginal, and this, that, and the other. Stephen, you can't. Okay, you can't make those connections. And that's not your lane to do that, brother. I've been doing this for a long time. Okay. And I already, and you, the thing is, Stephen, you don't want to go back and look at the series that I did where I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Moor is indigenous to the Americas. Okay, I already proved that in I did a whole gigantic series, dozens of videos proving that, and it has gone unrebutted. Okay, that information has gone unrebutted. Okay, the problem with you, Stephen, is you only know the Moors over in the east, and you don't even have the information of the Moors over in the east correctly. Okay, because if you knew that, see, you're so busy trying to create a division between the Moors. These are, because we know that there were different groups of Moors. Okay, there's different groups of Moors. Yes. Okay, but now when you go back more anciently, you're gonna find out that Moor came from the west first. Okay, it came from the west first. Then we went over to the
Mhm.
other part. Okay, we went across the Atlantic. Okay, but you don't know that, brother, because again, Stephen, you like I said, you just starting this yesterday. My information is not dated, bro. You just ain't caught up yet. You know what I'm
And
saying?
never will.
It never will, bro. You know how long I've been doing this, bro? Since like the 90s, bro. You know what I'm saying? In that amount of time, I think you would know something. You know what I'm saying? I came through brother Hakeem Bey. Okay, A1 knows who Hakeem Bey is, and A1 is in the chat. He knows who Hakeem Bey is. So, and anyone who knows who Hakeem Bey is, that's not a lightweight person. Okay, and he's just one of the people who's who I came through. You know what I'm saying? plenty others. Okay, so bruh, this information that you're talking about, Stephen, this whole Aboriginal stuff. Go back and look at Hakeem. You throwing out Dane Calloway's name, Stephen. You don't even know that if you went back and you studied the tapes of Hakeem Bey from back in the early 90s, you would see that you would see where Dane Calloway, I'm so sorry, brother. I don't know. I hate to keep calling your name. I got nothing against you, bro. It's just the fact that, people keep coming on this platform with the nonsense. Okay. So, and I have to be honest. Okay. I have to be honest. Then Dane Calloway, I got nothing against you, bro. But Dane Calloway, that Hakeem Bey was bringing that same information before you came on the scene. I'm just saying. Okay, that's no shade. But see, me, I always give credit to where, you know, I got the paradigm from. I always give credit to the Moors. Okay, I always give credit to the Moors. Okay, so anyone else who's coming, talking this Aboriginal movement today, this, that, and the other, should be honest enough to say that the Moors were saying this a long time ago, before there was any Aboriginal movement. Okay, be honest. Now, that's not to say that there weren't individuals. Listen to my words very carefully. That's not to say that there were not individuals who spoke about us being Aboriginal here. But that's different than a school of thought and a movement. You see what I'm saying? That's different because the individuals are far and few. Okay, but when we're talking about a movement, okay, that's different. Okay, if you really want to be honest about it, we have to go all the way back, and we have to go and look at what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. Okay, way back. Okay, about the Moors being up and down the Mississippi River before the Pale Man came. Okay, and I showed you in the early Garvey series. Okay, I showed you where that Elder Moore was talking about our dominions. Okay, and where he even said that the Moors were indigenous. Okay, and he even talked about the connection with the indigenous people. And that video was back in the 90s. And we're not even talking about Hakeem Bey. We're talking about another small elder to Hakeem Bey. Okay, so Moore's been saying that we're Aboriginal here. So, I don't know where you new guys are getting your information from, but you got it really twisted. You've got it really twisted. Okay, now you get mad because we look at our whole experience. Okay, you got to look at the whole experience. A lot of you don't even know the history of the civil rights movement or the so-called so-called, I said. You see, people don't listen and they take my words out of context. I said so-called black history here, or the civil rights movement and stuff here. You don't even have that history correct. So how are you going to come and talk about Aboriginal history or even our experience here? Okay, because again, see, when you talk about the Moors talk about our whole experience. And again, as I said before, and I even showed you with your own Aboriginal elder who came, the chief, and he even told you that the Moors were in South Carolina. The Moors came and colonized South Carolina. Your own Indian chief told you that. Okay, and he told you that there were Africans that came here. There were Africans that came here in different migrations and waves. Okay, that is a fact. We looked at the different cultures and customs. Okay, we looked at the religion. Okay, last video I showed you the religion of voodoo as practiced in New Orleans. Okay, and there is no doubt, and the sister who was the voodoo practitioner, the New Orleans voodoo practitioner, she told you that they had voodoo there before the Haitians even came there. Okay, and she said it came from the Africans that were brought there. Okay, and that's not a matter of debate or discussion, because number one, Ogun is an African deity from Nigeria, to be specific. Now we're talking nations and nationality. We're giving you specifics now. Okay. Ogun, okay. Elegba, okay, is a those are Yoruba deities. Okay. Oshun, Yoruba. Okay. Shango, Yoruba. Okay. So there is no debate on whether or not there were Africans here, because those are African deities. Okay. Same thing you find in Puerto Rico. Same thing you find in Haiti. Now, of course, when you talk about those places, you had an indigenous influence as well. Okay. And you had maroon societies where you had both of those elements merged together, and you find it in the religion. Okay. And for those of you who have never practiced any of those traditions, which I have, okay, then you're not going to know anything about that. Okay. Again, this is where you separate the men from the mice, the students from the teachers. I have hands-on experience in what I'm bringing. Okay. Not theory, not books, but actual practice. Okay. That's the difference. Practice. Okay. So, with that being said, we went over time. I was supposed
Can
to
I
have
can I
signed off
say
a long
something
time ago.
real
Or
fast?
Fiber weigh in. Yeah.
Okay, is he willing to come on your show?
No, I don't have anybody on, just anybody on my show.
You know,
I really don't.
I
You
didn't
have to have
know.
certain qualifications. It's standards. There's standards. He could be in the chat, but he can't be on the show.
Okay.
You have to know what you're talking about, on to be on this show at least,
I mean, being that he's trying to cause so much disharmony, and we don't actually know what he looks like. I
No, I
was
know what
just
he looks. No,
wondering.
no, no. We know what he looks like.
I don't know. Anybody can paste the picture up.
That's true too. But no, he can't come on this show. You have to be qualified to be on this show.
Okay.
It's not like other platforms. This show
Yeah.
you have to meet certain criteria. You can't bring street corner scholarship on this platform.
That's
And
so
I don't
sad.
mean that. I don't mean that by any disrespect. But
Oh,
if you're gonna be on this show, you have to have some type of
I,
qualification.
I know we try to maintain quality, you know,
Yeah,
more important than quantity,
I
you
would have
know.
A1 on my show. I would have A1 on my show because I know he knows, he has a certain level of mastery of the information. You know, but just anyone with no, and I know he was out there for a while before a lot of those guys, were even, a lot of those guys who, are mentioned, you used to watch his show. So, you know, I would have somebody like that on there, but I'm very selective about who actually appears on the show. No, because I'm serious, and it's because this show is not a circus,
Yeah.
and you have
I
to.
was wondering if it would end his mess, you know, if he was willing to come on there and you were gracious enough to invite him, would he really come on there?
I'm pretty sure he would, but again, it would make no sense because
Yeah.
you have to
Well,
have a certain level of math.
I'm flowing
Yeah.
by the idea that I agree with you. He's an agent
Hmm.
or he's very well misinformed.
Yeah,
You
you have to
know,
have you have to have a certain amount of research under your belt, but he doesn't read books. So
Oh, oh, there you
he's
go.
not even a researcher. So that's my point. You have to have a certain knowledge base.
So he's
You
basically a parrot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, so you know that's why I said not that I wouldn't love to have him on the show if he did the due diligence. He could be on the show, but you have to have some type of qualifications. Otherwise, it's just a circus running.
I like with one of your comments, this Aboriginal movement is actually anti-Aboriginal.
A lot of it is, and again, I'm not singling out. That's why I always, if you notice on all of my shows, I always say I'm not talking about everyone in the Aboriginal community.
Oh, of course, of course.
I only address those who come in the comment section. Outside of that, I'm not talking about
Right,
anyone.
exactly.
You know,
Self-determination. They can be what they want to be.
yeah.
And we both agree. We support that. But when you
Hmm.
come in the chat and you start bringing in nonsense and division and misinformation and his story and all of that nonsense, that's a no-go.
Yeah, you have to, at least be a researcher, who've read, you gotta, in other words, when you come on this show, you gotta give me a bio. You have to, show what your qualifications are. You can't say, well, I feel or I believe this or that and the other, based on, my emotions. It doesn't work that way. You have to, it's just like, okay, let me ask you a question. Would you want, let's say you're in the hospital, would you want someone to operate on you who says, well, I feel that I'm a doctor, so, I'm about to do this heart transplant on you because,
I think not.
I listened to a couple of videos, and I listened to the dude down the street, and he was telling me, that, I could build a pacemaker, with a toy heart, and I can take some tomato juice, and let it flow through that toy heart. I could put it inside your chest. You know what I'm saying? And I got this. I got this other cat. He was telling me that it'll work. Would you want that person to operate on you in the
I think
hospital?
not.
That's my point. you know so
I just wanted, as your co-host, I just wanted to know if he's a real person or is he
now if you
agent
want to
of
bring him on your
optical.
show, we can do that. If you want to bring him on your show, we
My
can do
my
that.
show doesn't have the same exact theme your show does. I
Oh well,
touch
that's not my
lightly.
theme. That's not my theme. That ain't my theme. You got the wrong show. That's not my theme. you know you,
He
you got to
has
have
a
qualifications.
psychological need to, like mess with you. So I was curious, would he come on your show and really reveal who he really is?
Not on this show.
Because I
On this
have
show.
suspicions.
Oh, I have suspicions too. you know I have suspicions too. But anyway, on that note, we're gonna have to get out of here. And I thank all of the viewers who came in. And this is not the end of this discussion. This is to be continued because I have a lot more to share. Okay. And oh, I see that let me see. Steven is somewhere. He left a comment. But why didn't he come into the chat? All right, let me see here.
He's
See.
obsessed with you, really.
He says, he- he's responding to one of my comments. He's responding to one of my comments. Oh, no, he's responding to the show. So he says, see, He's laughing his ass off. He says,
He's been
Chief Nick.
laughing every day.
He
Every
says,
day this guy laughs. He
he
laughs
said,
at himself.
he says she says Chief Negro Foot. That's a good one, yeah, because I said you can't just be Chief Negro Foot. He says that's a good one. Why ask me where the Aboriginal movement was back then when you know they were still fighting, but each younger
Who's
generation,
they?
each younger generation was being educated out of their Aboriginal Indianness.
When?
Would you
When?
agree?
What year?
Would you
What year?
agree? Would you hold on? Would you agree that the Indian Removal Act was to remove the Indian from the man more than it was to remove him off the land? Okay, but that when they say remove the Indian from the man, okay, that was not just talking about those of us with our phenotype. Okay, that was also talking about those with the what you call, I don't even like the word, but what you call mongoloid phenotype. Okay, number one, brother. Okay, so you don't know what you're talking about. All right, it was
He's
when
a
they
piece
said
of
it
work
remove the Indian from
from the
the
man.
man, it's talking about removing all of those aspects that make you Indian, which
Cutting
includes
off the hair,
cutting
putting
off the
on
hair,
colonial
not
clothes,
speaking the language,
not speaking the language,
not
removing you from your
practicing the
land.
religion, all of that stuff. Okay, so you don't know what you're talking about again. Okay, um, and so again, where yes, I asked you where was the Aboriginal movement back then because you're accusing Marcus Garvey of being an agent because of not pushing the Aboriginal agenda. And I'm telling you that at that
There
time
was no
there was
movement.
there was no Aboriginal movement at that
What
time.
the heck?
If you listened to the discussion, okay, you would know that at that time the back to Africa ideology was very common among our people. Okay, so was the biblical narrative. Our people was Judeo-Christian oriented. I told you that way back in the beginning of the Garvey discussion, but of course you didn't listen to that, so you don't know that. Okay, and see, you're just going by again. You're listening to somebody who did a 10-hour rant on Marcus Garvey who didn't have all of the information. But just because somebody, talks about Marcus Garvey and presses a button, talk about, oh my God, and all that stuff, that's what you call sensationalism. Okay, that's what you call sensationalism. All right.
Yeah, Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to put that in comments one day, to prove where was the Aboriginal movement when Marcus Garvey was alive. Can he get it
I
out
asked
of
him that.
any legitimate book?
I asked him that a
Not
thousand times.
Wikipedia.
I asked him that 1,000 times, and he just couldn't answer because, again, you know, it again, see, I have a background in the Garvey organization because when I was younger, okay, in my early years, I had a background. I was part of one of the Garvey organizations, so I can speak definitively on that history. Okay, he's just going by. He just watched brother Sanchez video. That went on for about 10 hours, and he thinks he is an expert on Garvey. Okay,
You
but
know, you know what they call that, right? That's a witch hunt. That's a witch hunt.
yeah.
Accusing a person of, if they're into nature and they like flowers, that person is a witch. They're a witch, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey is. These people are doing that to Marcus Garvey. There was no Aboriginal movement for Garvey to compare anything to.
Thank you.
Everything, everything was pro African, remove ourselves from oppression. I
Right.
don't know what the heck this guy is talking about, why he's joining in with the slander, why he's on a witch hunt against poor Marcus Garvey that thought he was doing the right thing. he wasn't educated on anything Aboriginal because it was not put in front of him about Aboriginal. You
Thank
know,
you. He
this
didn't
is
even come. He didn't even come here. Garvey, first of all, Garvey was first looking to organize his people in Jamaica, but he read Booker T. Washington. He studied Booker T. Washington, and that inspired him to come here. He wanted to meet Booker T. Washington, okay, and Booker T. Washington's ideology, okay. That's what inspired Marcus Garvey, okay, number one. So you can't accuse Marcus Garvey of something that was a common theme back then.
yes.
Marcus
And
Garvey was
you
not
know
even the
what?
father of the, hold on one second. Marcus Garvey was not even the father of the Back to Africa movement. Okay, there were dozens of people before Marcus Garvey. I'm talking about over almost 200 years before Marcus Garvey who had Back to Africa movements. What about them? And they were homegrown. Some of them were even American Indian.
Yeah.
Okay, now, okay, so what you got to say about that? So why would an American
What
Indian,
is this Aboriginal movement at the time of Garvey? It just amazes me, the slander, you know?
and he's not even talking about why Garvey was talking about, or the people before Garvey was talking about a Back to Africa movement, or why even Booker T. Washington was talking about Back to Africa. Okay, it's not because they were looking to exodus all of our people. And I say I'm going backwards now. I already debunked all of that, and I went into detail as to why they created these Back to Africa movements. Not because they were trying to exodus all the Aborigines and off of the land and this, that, and the other. No, that's foolishness. No, that's not why. It's because they were trying to escape all of the oppression
The
that was
oppression.
going here. You know, they were theorizing, okay, well, what do we do? Do we do it here? Do we do it in another state? Okay, or and when they kept getting pushback, they say, okay, well, let's look to Africa. Okay, and he's bringing up stuff like the American Colonization Society and stuff like that. Well, what about before that? Okay, see, and you don't even know nothing about that. Okay,
Does he even know
let's go
about
to real let's go to
Liberia?
real school. Let's go to real school, brother. Okay.
What about Liberia? You know, do they know anything about countries
No,
that?
they know about that.
Well, apparently he doesn't know.
Yeah, but the thing is that he's got the information mixed up, and they don't. The thing is, they don't understand the timelines of all of these events. See, if he listened to the previous videos, I got into the timelines, you know, of when all of these. They're mixing different events that don't even coincide with one another. Okay, number one. Okay, so they're mixing apples and oranges. Okay, certain timelines, some of the stuff that Steven is saying is not true.
Sounds
Okay,
like most of it to me.
yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna sign off. um
Tess, please stay in touch. Uh, let us know what your page is on Facebook.
yeah, I'll be in touch, Tess. I hadn't forgotten about you. I just had been a lot of stuff going on, and I hadn't had the chance to give you a call, but I will give you a call within the next couple of days. And on that
Please.
note, I'm gonna sign off saying, da da da, gah e.